Hi, my name is Nate. This is video three, comparing. I chose to do the East Pacific Rise and the Mariana Trench. So these were a little different than I assumed, or I guess they were kind of what I assumed they were going to be. So the East Pacific Rise divergent boundary between mainly the North American plate and the Pacific plate. But it also around there includes the Cocos plate, the Nazia plate, and the Antarctic plate. So what happens in the East Pacific Rise is the seafloor separates and new seafloor comes up. So the seafloor in the middle of it would be younger than the seafloor that is going out. It does have volcanoes, but they're extremely small and they're effusive. And then it also uh, creates vents in the seafloor, which like because the lava comes up and it's hot, obviously. So then when it goes back down, it creates vents which just lead up hot air. It also has earthquakes, but they're no deeper than 30 kilometers, which was honestly really surprising to me because the other one that I did also has earthquakes because water gets down. So I guess I would assume because there's volcanoes down there that there would have been bigger earthquakes because the water gets in there as well. Another cool part that I found about the East Pacific Rise was the fact that it's part of the Ring of Fire. And if I remember right, the Ring of Fire had a ton of earthquakes when we did like the earthquake lab. And so I guess because of that, I assumed there would have been deeper and bigger earthquakes, but they're really not that deep or not deep at all. So then for my second one, I chose to do the Mariana Trench, which it's a convergent boundary with the Pacific plate going under the Philippine Sea plate, which I thought was weird because I would assume that the Pacific plate, because it was bigger, would just kind of take over, but I guess it doesn't really work like that. Um, it's a subduction zone. Uh, there's troughs, uh, which causes the trench, which is pretty cool. Um, uh, a cool fun fact about the Mariana Trench is it's deeper than the highest mountain is tall. So I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't know that. Um, it has volcanoes and earthquakes, and it has extremely deep earthquakes because obviously, like I said earlier, because of the water getting down in there, and like uh, I didn't really understand that until I like looked at it, and it makes sense because it creates more pressure down there because the water's getting in there, so there's more things just that are involved with it. The volcanoes are due to the water down in the earth. And then another fun fact about the trench is that Nemo and Dory swam through it a little bit and then went up and over it and ended up swimming through the jellies, which I kind of just put together right towards the end of my thing. I thought it was pretty cool. The fact that we learn about things without really learning about them. So in conclusion, I thought that they were pretty similar. Well, I guess not similar. They're kind of different, but they do about the same thing with one of them getting newer at the top and one of them getting newer at the bottom. But it's pretty cool just to learn and the fact that like there are different plate boundaries and the fact that we just kind of live with them and we don't like the average person doesn't ever learn about it. Like the average person would just never know that the trench is so deep or the fact that there's earthquakes there because water goes down.